Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, and welcome back to episode number 783 of Five Nights at Freddy's. Just kidding, it's actually me, Waddles from the past here. In between episodes, I've been busy, very busy. I went deep down, so deep in the world, and started mining basically the best block ever, Deep Slate. I needed a lot of it. After that, I started mining the second best block ever, Deep Slate Diamonds. I don't know if you couldn't notice or what, but this time when I join you, I'm actually a little bit richer than I was the last episode at the end. It's pretty cool. After mining diamonds, I found a small cave, didn't really check it out, but it's there, figured I'd tell you about it. Then I came back up to the surface to mine basalt inside of the Basalt Brothers factory that we set up like 2 episodes ago. It was all great, it was really cool. 3 blocks, 3 wonderful blocks, basalt, deep slate, diamonds. What do all these things have in common? Well, they could all start with the letter D. They're all amazing looking, and I need them all today. That brings us to this moment right here, the skin of the day. Yes, that's right, today's meme of the day is not a meme, it's even better. It's a skin, an actual real skin. Electric Taco 556, I think they made one of the memes in the last episode actually. Well, this time, they're coming at us with a skin. This thing is beautiful. This matches the Lush Cave vibe from the last episode. I thought it was like so perfect. How could I like not use it in this episode? It's so nice. So today, we're going to begin a big project. This is maybe one of the biggest projects that we have in this world so far. So looking around, we have a lot of builds, and some of these builds are of course bigger or have more stuff to them. Like there's a lot of land being taken up by that build. This build has villagers and everything like that. The ship, it's a pretty big intensive build. I'm thinking this build that we're going to begin today is going to have even more than all of those things. Now this build, I've been looking around. I really like where I decided to live, except the only problem is whenever I want to set up a bigger build, like the build we're going to do today, the land is like hills, like literally everywhere. I don't know if this is like a common 1.18 thing or what, but like literally all of this land is hills. I think we're going to put a build out there, but like basically no matter what, wherever I ended up putting this build, terraforming, it's going to require like a lot of terraforming. I guess I should get to work. But real quick before we get into too much today, last episode was like pretty much the perfect setup for this one. We met Cab, we found some really great things, so if you didn't see it, definitely check it out. If you already saw it, you're ahead of the game, you're the best. The only thing you have left to do today is leave a like and subscribe maybe, if you're new. My cows, my sweet and beautiful cows that I have thoroughly not done anything to in this entire world. I haven't really done anything with cows and it feels so different. My sweet, wonderful cows, they're going to be in the way for the build today. I figured pretty much the only spot where I can set today's build up is going to be exactly where the cows are sitting right now. So first things first, we need to move them to a new location. I figured seaside view. Alright, listen here, clowns. Stay still, stay still. I know you're excited about this wheat. Which one of you will ever get the single piece of wheat that I have? I don't know, good question. Come with me right this way. We're gonna finish up your pen. It may not be bigger, but it's definitely worth more. Like, worth a lot more money. This view is priceless, cows. It's completely priceless. Don't complain about it. Right inside of this pen right here, maybe we'll put the back of the pen like right here. Perfect, perfect. Look at their smiles. They love it. They don't care. They don't care that it's more cramped and small. Maybe even just clouded completely by the hill. They don't care. They love it here. I did have a feeling that this would happen, though. We had so many cows inside of that pen, they've exploded. They're everywhere. So I'm just going to try and get as many as I can. And whatever stays out of the pen, I guess stays out of the pen. All right, perfect. A lot of cows inside of a pen. Now that that's out of the way, we can get to the build. Today's build, the wonderful bee farm. This build is going to be pretty big, but maybe not initially. My plan today is to set up a build for the bees. That build will eventually be the center of a bigger build. I'm thinking we'll end up attaching other things to this build. So basically we end up with like this big complex, but Bee Emporium is the focus today. So the Bee Emporium, it needs a big, large, flat area. I think the circle that I'm going to set up for this thing, it's going to be like the biggest circle I built in this world easily. I'm thinking what I could do is raise the land up to this level right here. Maybe dig out some of that hill if I have to. Which reminds me, I really need mending at this point. Maybe I should get on that soon. Anyways, I was looking around at the land near the mountain for today's build. And I figured this is like best case scenario. I mean, we're going to have to do a lot of terraforming. But placing blocks is like way easier than digging out big mountains or hills. Especially with the tools that I'm working with today. So this is the spot. There we go, that's more like it. That's a pretty decent start. We might have to do a little bit more, especially to that hill behind it, but for a start, that's not too bad. In the beginning of the episode, I said I was busy collecting blocks. Well, I actually never showed you those blocks until this moment right here. Be ready to be amazed because that's a lot of basalt, and a lot of deep slate, and a lot of diamonds. those are the blocks that we're going to need, or some of them. See, basalt is really, really nice, but smooth basalt might, just maybe, be even more nice. What I was thinking is set up a furnace operation over here, crafting operation, set it up over here, smelt up basalt, turn it into smooth basalt, use the smooth basalt on the build. Smooth basalt looks so nice, and I think it's going to blend, like, basically amazingly with deep slate right there. That's going to look really good. But wait, there's another step to my plan. I think we can make deep slate look even better by putting deep slate with even more deep slate. But this time we turn the deep slate into a brick. We put the brick on the bottom, makes it really, really solid. Then deep slate, basalt combination. On the top, spruce wood, glass. Oh my gosh, it's gonna look amazing. Also, I've never seen the base from over here. That looks pretty amazing too, if I do say so myself. That's really cool. Look at Terry. Oh man, Terry's great. Also, you might be curious about the dirt situation. I didn't have that much dirt on me in the intro. How did I pull this off? This is a lot of space. Well, you see, pretty simple. Take the dirt from down here, move it up, like 4 blocks. That's all I did. We have a basement down here that I'll probably never use, and we have land up here that I will definitely use, for sure. But anyways, that's enough talking for now. We need to start today's build. So today's build, we're going to start off with a gigantic circle. I'm thinking 7 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be like the flat side of the circle. I think what we might do is center it maybe a couple blocks over, so we'll take some off of this side. Remember, we're thinking expansion, and if I'm thinking expansion, that means probably having to do more terraforming. If I could push it over this way and terraform that way, things are going to be way easier than terraforming out this way. So circle goes around like that. We do 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 7 again. Now, this is where we're going to come into another problem. So I think this is 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's great. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We hit the hill again. I planned for this. I kind of knew this moment was going to happen. I had a feeling this was inevitable. What I'm going to do here is chop away a little bit of the hill. Probably not going to terraform it very much, to be honest. I mean, it's going to be behind the build. I'll position the build in a way that we can't really see the flat backside of the hill. Eventually, of course, I think I will build something onto the hill, or maybe even expand the build, like, backwards. But really, I don't worry about that, because by that point in the game, we're going to have a beacon. We're going to have a full netherite set of tools. In fact, maybe even 2 full sets of netherite tools. We're going to be basically, I mean, look, mark my words. Practically, by that point, we'll be rolling in netherite, so it won't matter at all. Right now, I'm not rolling in netherite, so I'm going to avoid digging out as much of this hill as possible. That sounds like a great idea. You see, maybe iron tools aren't actually that bad at all. Maybe they get a lot of undeserved hate. I could definitely see this being my forever tool. Like, just use these things forever in this world. And I don't think anybody would have a single problem with that at all. I wouldn't ever see a single comment about it. Yep. Maybe that's the plan. Anyways, the real plan here, after I finish digging out that hill, which I did, is replace that stone with dirt. Definitely need that to be grass on the inside, and then the build. Continue building the build. So to continue building the build, definitely a second layer of deep slate bricks. Deep slate bricks, 2 layers. Oh, it's going to feel so tall, grand, really, really nice. The bees are a great mob. One of my favorite mobs in the entire game. They deserve, like, essentially a temple here. Now, the circle, yeah, is going to be pretty big. The bees live inside of the middle. They fly around constantly. We have flowers all over the ground. They love it. They live a really, really happy life. Then, after I do these 2 layers of deep slate, we're going to come in with even more deep slate. I have missed the deep slate so much. Now, I want the build to be tall. That's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? 9 blocks? I mean, I feel like 9 is really tall and grand. It's definitely, like, taller than most of the builds that we built so far, which is good. That's kind of what I'm going for here. Maybe 9 blocks. We go up like 9 blocks. Really, really tall here with deep slate. And then I leave a lot of room for windows. Windows on this build for sure. Then, after I get the deep slate on the build, or maybe if I want to speed things up, while I'm putting deep slate on the build, the fun part begins. I either swap some of the deep slate that I put on the build already out, replace it with smooth basalt only, or I just start from the beginning with it, have smooth basalt mixed into the build. I'm thinking completely random. It's going to add a little bit of detail to the wall, and it's going to use smooth basalt. The whole point of the factory, the whole point of basalt actually existing, of course, getting to use it. Then when we're done with the build, we're going to have something that kind of looks like this, have windows in there, which will be cool. I'm thinking eventually, once I have all of the walls and around this build, on the top of this thing, some kind of wood awning, spruce wood in particular, it'll warm the build up. There's a lot of stone here, could definitely use more color. And then finally, to cap it all off in the most grand way, glass dome on the top. Glass dome on the top. Glass dome on the top. Why does he say it like that? You wonder to yourself intensely. Well, you see, if you were concerned about my deep slate situation, maybe thought I was running low, I'm not. I actually have a lot of deep slate inside of this ship over here, so that's fine. I'll be able to run up here, like right now, and grab even more deep slate. Glass, however, on the other hand, well, glass, this is a pretty big build if you haven't seen, and I have like a tiny bit of sand. That's going to mean we're going to have to go and source even more sand from the big flat beach at some point in today's episode. Not really that much of a big deal, but this is what the build is looking like so far. I think it's going to look really cool. We'll put a grand entrance on this build today, have it go up, have a dome. It'll look great. Super excited to see it in. While I make a little bit of progress on the build, I'd like to explain beekeeping to you. You see, one of my previous jobs was actually beekeeping. I used to be a beekeeper. Beekeeping is the maintenance of bee colonies, commonly in man-made hives by humans. Most such bees are honeybees in the genus Apis, but other honey-producing bees, such as Melipona, stringless bees, are also kept. A beekeeper keeps bees in order to collect their honey or other products that the hive produce, like in the game, honeycombs. Honeycombs are my big focus today. Some beekeepers will also keep bees to pollinate crops or produce even more bees for sale. Beekeeping has been a practice for practically as long as people have been keeping bees. Most beekeepers also wear some protective clothing. Novice beekeepers usually wear gloves and a hooded suit or hat and veil. Experienced beekeepers, however, sometimes elect to not use gloves because they inhibit delicate manipulations. The face and neck are the most important areas to protect, so most beekeepers will at least wear a veil. Yes, I know what you're wondering. Yes, even if they're more experienced, sometimes you have to wear a veil. Smoke is the beekeeper's third line of defense. Most beekeepers use a smoker, which is a device designed to generate smoke from the incomplete combustion of various fuels. Although the exact mechanism is disputed, it is clear that smoke calms bees. Yep, that's right, smoke calms bees, and that's why it calms bees in this game, too. I bet you never knew that. Or any of that other stuff. I surprise you more and more each day, don't I? Believe it or not, I actually was indeed definitely once a beekeeper, and absolutely not reading any of that information from Wikipedia. The thought that you would even think that or suggest it, it's offensive to me. Don't do that again, okay? Welcome back, everybody. Very fascinating bits about bees. It's kind of crazy how much they have to them, truly. And so the build is coming along pretty nicely. I'm getting ready to actually finally put a glass dome on the build. I just got back from that resource beach. Look at all of this sand. Hopefully we're going to be set when it comes to glass and sand for like a couple episodes. Hopefully. That's the goal, at least. Now, for the dome, here's what I'm thinking. We start off with spruce wood. Spruce wood, it's reliable. It always looks really nice. I think this will be a solid start. We'll strip the spruce wood. It's going to be expensive because I'm going to have this go all the way around the build, but I'll do it. It'll be okay. I'll chop down a couple more spruce trees. No big deal. We'll have that border. Then what we'll do is we'll put glass on top of this somehow. Now, I'm going to have to figure out the dimensions to the dome and actually how to do that, but glass dome sits right on top of the spruce wood, probably something like this. It goes over, and then I guess up and over, and then over here. I have no clue. Maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know. I'll figure out the glass dome and I'll get the glass dome in. Now, down here on the ground looking at the build, I think it looks pretty cool. I actually changed the windows. I took the top basalt and deep slate out, made a little arch over the window, which is nice. However, I think this front build, the front side of the build definitely needs more. What I'm thinking is some kind of entrance here. Doesn't really need to be too big. Maybe we just line it up with this section of 7 right here. Pop it out of the build just a little bit. Basically, what I'm going for here is a way to actually like walk into the build and you know, not have like the bees like right away. I definitely don't want the bees getting outside of the build. I'm not completely sure how I'll end up actually doing this, but I know for sure that I want to lighten the build up with the different wood tones, so maybe oak wood. This could be like the perfect time for this stuff. Also windows. Windows are also always really nice, so maybe we'll have oak wood go up. Maybe I'll have it like go over, maybe like just straight across the build right here. Of course, strip all of this stuff. Then maybe I do like a section with like, I don't know, I could see like spruce wood going up and curving over. All of this is stripped. We have windows in here. And then deep slate and maybe more windows over here. And then a roof. And I'll try and connect the roof to that part of the build. So that's what I'm thinking when it comes to the entrance of this build. Then what I'll do is I'll probably just basically knock this entire wall out or reconstruct the wall in a way so that the bees can't get into this front room. You know, that's the point of it. But no windows right there. Windows everywhere else, though, for sure. Glass panes. Maybe white glass panes. I think white glass panes would look really nice. And again, lighten the build. Now, that brings us to the actual function part of the build. We need to find the middle. I think the middle is going to be that block right there. Third try is the charm right there. That's going to be the middle. Now, working from the middle, we're going to set up a bee farm. We're going to need a little bit of room. So I think if we go like diagonally out like that, save space in here, there. It's going to be tight, but I think it's going to work. This is where we'll set the farm up. To build this setup, we're going to need a couple different redstone components, beginning with observers. 12 observers for 12 different beehives. We're also going to need dispensers, which means I need bows. I'm going to need bows, so specifically, precisely 12 of them. This is the first dispenser of the world, or these are too. That's kind of crazy. Dispensers feel like the most useful thing in the entire world. So great for automatic farms, and I've never made one. I guess I'm like a beginner or something. Even more recipes. Maybe on this front part of the roof we could go like this, and then maybe like that, and then like this, and then maybe like this, and then maybe switch it up, go like that, go like this, maybe go like that, maybe go like this, and then here we go. The middle, we go like that, we go, I don't know, like this, so like that, remove that, replace it with this, and then do that. Yeah, that could be pretty cool, for sure. White glass panes, definitely gonna be the answer, for sure. Anyways, components. Back to components. This machine is going to be a very simple machine to set up. So, I think what we're going to want to do here is start with some temporary blocks and then dispensers facing out, just like that. Then what I think we could do to make this look really, really nice, logs in here, and I'll strip those. Then what I'll do is I'll do temporary blocks right there. Then it's time for the observers. The observers look right down right there. Permanent blocks there. Fill this in with redstone dust, and boom, there we go. That's 3 automatic honeycomb farm machines. All that we need in here is the bees. So then what I'll do is I'll come around this side and basically do the exact same thing. Dispensers looking out like that. Stripped oak logs, which I think I'm going to need a little bit more of down there on the bottom. Temporary blocks again in there. Observers looking down. Basalt over here. Redstone on the top. It's really simple. To actually make sure all of the honeycombs get picked up from this farm, what I think I'll do is set up some kind of wall, maybe with like trapdoors or something right here. Just a small wall like that. I think that should be good. Most of the honeycombs should, I think, fly straight out from this farm once I have that in. The rail line runs underneath the ground, like down in here in the basement, picks up all of the honeycombs and drops them off in a spot. Maybe like right here. We'll have a chest in the floor. I can walk in, open the chest, grab everything that I need. Then I can leave the build. I'll have a wall right here. Turn around, leave the build. The bees stay inside of the build. The bees give me honeycombs. And then I can actually finally use candles. Powered rails? Rails. Alright, I'm pretty sure I have the rail line figured out here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the rail line go all the way around this thing in basically like a circle where I put all of the cobblestone. Then I'm going to have it speed up on the outside of things right here. It'll keep going around, then again speed up right here. Keep going over, keeps going over, eventually passes right over the hopper, turns around, and does it all again. I think I'll add a couple more powered rails in here. Definitely take these wall blocks out right here so the minecart doesn't slow down. It should be good. I think this is going to be perfect. And the minecart should have enough power to travel forever, never get stopped by anything. And I didn't even have to dig out a basement. Look at that. I had a basement planned all along. Down below this thing, add a couple levers to turn the powered rails on. Minecart with a hopper inside of it. Drop it onto the rails. Push it. There are those corner blocks too, but let's see. Get out of the way. It loops. It goes around. There's too much power. There's way too much power. It will never stop. These corner blocks don't matter at all. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. So now what I need to do is cover all of this up, set up some kind of wall to stop the honeycombs from being thrown, you know, like too far away, and then the bees. And then I need to get the bees inside of the build. Yes, that's right. The final step is, of course, get the bees in. Oh, and the real bees too, of course. Alright, so hopefully this works out exactly like I'm hoping. If I put this down, will it face out? Yes, it faces out, and the bees are not mad at me either. This is perfect. So, it's been a while since I've been working in here, since I've showed you what's up. Wait, where are all the other bees? I swore there were bees inside of those things. Well, that's fine, because this is the plan anyways. That's always been the plan. Get the bees inside of here, take the flowers, here you go, breed the bees up over and over and over again. And then hopefully, eventually, there's like a million bees inside of this thing. They live here, they love it here, they fly around, they eat flowers, and it's a great life. Like every aspect of it for the bees is just a quality, happy, solid, good life. Now, of course, moss blocks. Now that we have moss blocks, I brought a couple in here. I figured I could bone meal these because I'm pretty sure, like 90% sure, that the bees can actually eat those too, like pollinate from those things, so hopefully that'll work. Hopefully these trapdoors won't get in the way of the bees pathfinding, like hopefully they can figure it out, fly around this thing instead of try and fly through it, go right into their house. I guess only time will tell though, we'll have to wait and see. Now I also wanted to actually do this inside of here, grow a tree, maybe just one. I feel like one is probably good, or actually maybe two trees. All right, so let's put the other one maybe like right there, grow that right there. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems, but a little bit of trees in here, flowers all over the ground. I'll of course come in and get even more flowers, and then bushes on the ground too. I think that's perfect. Bee Emporium, day one at least. That's it. Well, actually, correction. That's almost it. The final thing that we need to do is climb up here and put some shears inside of these dispensers. Without any shears in the dispensers, of course, nothing is going to happen. Eventually, once we have more honeycombs, I come back in. I make, like, the manual beehives, the bee nests, whatever you call them. And then I fill this thing up. We eventually end up with 12 of the things, shears inside of all of the dispensers, tons of honeycombs. And it's perfect. A perfect life for the bees, and a perfect life for me. Oh yeah, and then the build up front here, I just did something really simple. Trapdoors right there so I can see in. Of course, a warning, would want to be considerate. And then a little bit of decoration here. I decided andesite on the floor. First time I've used that in this world, I'm pretty sure. It makes the floor like old, cracked up, and ruined. Now, please, don't judge the build too harshly. This is the beginning of it. I haven't terraformed anything outside, so just keep that in mind. But the build today, how it ends up looking... This build right here, like I said, please don't judge it too harshly. Needs a little bit more work on the outside for sure, definitely. But just look at the top of the build. Like, don't worry about the ground and no terraforming. The top of the build right there, the bees, of course, to signify, well, obviously, obviously, it's a bee farm. How could you not have the bees up on top of the thing? Obviously. Once we add a little bit more to the build, I'll come back in and terraform, add some stuff in here, a road out front of the thing, of course. But for today, I think that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching Minecraft Survival, episode number 17. Today, big thank you to Patreon Gang, Monkey Boy, Chuck, Bill W, and Sortiri. Thank you so much for the support. Huge thank you to you, and you, and you, and every single one of you for watching this episode. The Bee Emporium, a small piece of eventually a much bigger build. This is how it looks today. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.